Good. Good. Good.
Good evening, dear poets, dear poetry lovers, dear audience. This is the second day of our poetry festival on the wings of technology. And today, this evening, we have a special moment. Poets, poetry lovers, we are introducing the jury member of the poetry competition, which is part of the festival. So I'm very happy to introduce the members of the jury, which are Richard Ali, who joins us from Nigeria, Robin Omeka alias Enigma, who is based in Nairobi, and Tanya Akovi, who joins us from UK, from Lincoln. I'm very pleased that you are with us. We are all from different places connected on this online event. And before giving you time to introduce you and also share a little bit about your passion for poetry, I would like to say a few words about the competition. Maybe why do we do a competition? One important point is that we do a competition to discover new talents. This is for sure one important point. And then the other is also that we want to give different voices a place in this universe. And when we have the debate on the role of the arts for refugees one half an hour ago, and we had Kagai Ngobi saying that once we are able to say our life, our story in a poem, we start existing. And I felt this is so powerful, that with a poem, we have a place in the universe. And this is a very powerful moment of existing. And as member of this jury, you honor these poetic voices, and already a great thanks for that. For this competition or for this festival, we have also chosen a specific topic, which is about refugees. And we asked that the poetry videos for this poetry competition would either be written and performed by someone who lives in a refugee camp, who has a life in a refugee situation. But then we did not ask that the poem would be forcefully about refugees, but about any topic. And I remember that when working in Rwanda with a group of young people, someone from a refugee camp, his name is Besto, he was writing a poem about WhatsApp communication. And I felt like this is so beautiful to see how he shares about everyday experiences, which are so similar, the way we live and experience the world, and not about refugees only, but about other topics. So this was one way of creating content for this competition. The other one was that we also encourage poets, any poet from the poetry community, to write a poem about refugees. And this was also to allow poets to express their empathic thinking and writing about refugees, but also to give refugees a feeling of being understood and to be listened to. So this bringing together two different or two complementary perspectives. And maybe a refugee camp is a place to be safe from war, from troubles, but then still it's maybe also a place where the heart does not feel to be at home. And I feel that by writing a poem, a young person maybe is able to create a home in language and in a poem. And this is what we hope to create also with this festival. Now, maybe we start with the poetic introduction, with the introduction of the jury members. And because Tanya Akrovi was the first to be in the meeting room, I think you had lots of time to relax and to get comfortable, to bring a glass, to drink something. Maybe before you introduce yourself through a poem, as this is kind of tradition among poets, because to say a poem that comes from the heart is such a powerful way of speaking who you are. But there is something else which is very inspiring. You had a TEDx talk about the heroic elixir of storytelling. Yes. And you speak about the power of storytelling and inspire with this talk, with what you do, young people, and also empower and encourage to speak out. This is very inspiring, and I would now like to give you the floor to share one of your poems.
Thank you very much, Andrea, and to my fellow judges. I have lots of poems about coming to this country with my family, but in watching the video back, a lot of the poems that were submitted had the poets striving for joy, and so I wanted to read a poem that was full of joy from my heart as a way to introduce myself. And this poem is called So Hum, which is the Sanskrit word meaning I am. And it's about my son and how he uses music to exist. So this is So Hum. As a way to introduce myself. And this poem is called So Hum, which is the Sanskrit. My 4-year-old sings all the time. It's about my disjointed humdrum drip drops of melody, as if they were semi-precious stones that he strings throughout the day. His necklace of found sounds. He catches noises which float our way like dandelion seeds on the breeze. Then he stretches them, puts his stank on them. The miz, miz, miz of buzzing bees, he lyrically transcribes for me. The flick, flick, clack of passing wheels, he steals, then thrills, cartwheels and spills all over the lawn, singing his Eli songs. These ditties fill me with joy, the kind that flutters inside, as he conducts this orchestra of butterflies. Then as we run wild through supermarket aisles, he embellishes the mundane, drapes melody and technicolor around the everyday. Grown in love and born into song, I tell the story as he sings along. He filled the gloom with rainbow lights so bright only my ears could see. He is a gift from God to me. That's it. Sings along.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And I like the message of joy and of sharing happiness. Thank you. Now, I would like to ask Robin Omeka, alias Enigma, who is also an inspiring storyteller, a performer, who has traveled a lot experience traveling as a way of discovering other places, also traveling as kind of freedom. Robin, would you share a poem to introduce yourself?
Yes, am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Awesome. So my name is Robin Omeka, but I perform on stage as Enigma Creative and I am a storyteller. I am going to do a performance that is centered around insecurities, particularly amongst Black African women who identify as Black, and how they are made to feel like they need to change their skin tones because they are made to feel like being Black is not beautiful enough. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. They marked you as one who would be stretched out on the canvas of lies. Painted melanin dark like clouds carrying thunder and storm that would fold their bowels in shock. Was it my skin? Was it your skin? Was it the flaws that came in its layers? Was it how you wore the flawed beauty of your enchanted chocolate skin? Was it how you embraced its graceful stretch like endless Kalahari desert sand dunes? They set you apart. They showed you the beauty of a color that they knew will never be yours. They told you that your color was dirty. Daughter, isn't that the origin of all skin, black, brown, and white alike? Isn't it from the dirt and ash of this earth that we came? Isn't it to the dirt and ash of this earth that we shall all escape? They came in their ships and littered our shorelines. They taught us tongues we could not understand because our tongues stretched their vocal cords to lengths that even their ships had not yet traveled. They couldn't understand how chocolate could look so good on human skin, how we looked like we bathed in milk and honey. They became obsessed with our cocoa. Their tongues could not stop thirsting for our sweet black Ethiopian Arabica coffee. We had lived 1,000 years before them. Dynasties of women carrying the weight of delectable melanin skin like royalty. You will see them on billboards on your streets, advertising to you the beauty of a pale skin. They will have you thinking that a fair shade is the standard, that your shade is at the bottom of the pyramid. But honey, aren't pyramids Egyptian? Isn't Egypt African? Isn't Africa melanin? But isn't melanin you? With bated breath, they dread the day that you will embrace the truth about the thunder in your melanin skin. Thank you.
Absolutely lovely.
That was lovely.
That's
Lovely.
beautiful.
Absolutely lovely. Enjoyed listening to that.
Thank you. Thank you for this beautiful poem.
Thank you.
It was worth waiting for you arriving through the rain of Nairobi. And I just realized what we maybe miss most with the online performances is the clapping. And so we send you a lot of clapping.
Yeah.
Now, Richard, it's your turn. You can't escape.
Okay.
Richard Daly is a lawyer from Nigeria. He's a poet. He's the founding member of Chalada Africa and the co-founder of the poetry publishing house Konya Shamsrumi, Richard Ali. Which is the poem you use to introduce yourself?
Okay, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much, Andrea and Enigma. And hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yes,
okay.
yes, we can.
So it's a pleasure to be here. I'll read this poem titled Situations, and it was written a while ago in Rabat, at Rabat, Morocco. There's a famous train station there called the Agdal train station, and you could get a taxi to everywhere from there. So, situations. Sitting at the Agdal train station, I find sad thinking of Camus, dead on the street, dead on the situations. Sitting at the Agdal train station, I find sad thinking of Camus, dead on the road, an unused train ticket pinned to his pocket. Sounds of Moroccan Arabic, unlike tea with mint, excludes me. I am the blackfish out of sea. A glance passes between blackish nomads. Ghanaian, she says, I married here. Nigerian, I say tourist in French with the East. But am I? I remember a retired Yemeni general, mosaic words imploring us to remember the situation in Yemen, his precarity. 11:15, I board for Marrakesh, graffiti, train linesmen, lines, red flags, dead palms, yellow cats, concrete. Why is there so little to do in this world? In the whiplash, I'm pulled backwards into my situation. This shape-shift heart that seeks the road, my feet that will be anywhere but here for long. Train tracks grow lonely from all I have left behind. All I have left behind has led me here. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you
Very much. Thank you.
Thank you for this beautiful poem. And with the poem you have presented, you have all testimonied about your existence. So thank you. For this competition, we have received poems from different parts, from different countries, from Kenya, from Uganda, from Rwanda. And I have realized that some of the poets have really been struggling to participate in the competition. And I'm currently based in Zurich, and it's quite easy to send a video and retransfer. And I know that for participating in a competition, some of the participants have really been struggling a lot to have this video reach me because of internet connection and all kind of challenges. And I felt very inspired by this, to see this courage and the determination to bring this voice to the world. And one of the motivation, or one of the things I was like having in mind when working on this festival was also to think what we can learn from this strength of resilience and of being strong and keeping courage and hope for a better future. Now, I would like to ask the jury members about the criteria that we use, or that are used in the competition to evaluate the poems. And maybe I could ask Tanya to start with exploring or sharing the criteria that were used or will be used for the evaluation of the poem submitted to the competition.
Okay. Well, the categories for scoring were divided into 4. So the first was poetic vision, the use of metaphor, symbolism, the things that exist in the poetic universe. So that to me is about language, really. The second category was imagery employed and the skill shown in the videography. So visually, what does it look like and what was the impact? The third was originality. You know, was this a new idea or was it something that we'd heard over and over again in poetic form? And then finally, of course, because of the poems we're working with, emotional content. So all of the poems were scored out of 10 for each of these categories, with a final score out of 40 for each poem. And that's how us as judges, that's how we've been evaluating each of the poems, dividing them into these categories and
thank you very much.
Apart.
Yeah, thank you. So these are the criteria, and the work is now up to the jury members to listen carefully and to decide who will be the winner. There's also to mention that for every poem that we receive, we know that this is a beautiful piece of poetry. I think this is very important, that there's one poet, one poetess who will be declared as the winner, but all of the participants deserve our appreciation and our recognition of sharing a powerful piece. Maybe, Robin, can you just say in your words what a good poem is about? Robin, are you still with us? If not, then Robin, do you still hear me? Maybe not. I would like to...
Yes, I am. I was, I'm sorry, I disappeared for a bit.
No problem.
Yes, I can hear you. I don't know, can you hear me?
Now I hear you. Yeah, perfect. There was just a short question about what the good poem is about for you.
Ah, okay. Okay, good.
Would you like to answer? Or do you have an answer what a good poem is about?
Oh, what a good poem is about. That's the question.
It's a difficult one, I know.
I'll try. I think ultimately at the heart of poetry and storytelling, I think a good poem or a good story is always about how it makes people feel. And when one is writing a poem or creating a story, you need to understand that you're not making it for an audience that is not aware of their emotions. So you need to make it from a place of honesty without attempting to try and make them feel something. If you can be able to tap into that particular feeling by yourself, then in effect you are able to transmit the same catharsis to them as well. So I feel like a good poem begins with first being honest with yourself and the mental space in which you want to create the poem that you want to write about. In so many words, I am trying to say authenticity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Richard, what is your wish for this competition? in a few words?
I think that the importance of this competition cannot be underscored. On the one hand, historically, we've always felt that exiles are those people who can look at us, who have the vantage from the outside to be able to look at us and give us what we truly are. Now, unfortunately or fortunately, in the modern world, the sorts of exiles that we now have are the refugees, because these are people who have been displaced from their own home societies and are now somewhere where they can both look at home and these new spaces that they inhabit with fresh eyes. So I believe that refugees are those important people who are able to look at us and really tell us what we are, what we really are, in ways that we are too involved to understand or to be able to appreciate. So in this competition, I wish to see those stories about refugees that would reflect new ways of seeing ourselves, which we are too self-involved to understand. So for me, this is what I have looked for in these poems. And the poems that I have seen are absolutely remarkable and absolutely powerful in that respect. You know, so for me, that's what I look for. That's what I look out for in these poems.
Thank you very much. Now, we know that the jury will be busy with evaluating the poems and also busy with continue their journey, their travel in their respective cities. So we will meet again tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock Central Europe time and Nigeria time, 10 o'clock in Kenya and 9 o'clock in Kigali, to hear who will be the winner of this poetry competition. So I would also like to remind to the audience that the voting for the People's Choice is still open, and we encourage you to vote for the poet that is your favorite poet. And we will meet again tomorrow evening, hopefully with all of you. I'm very excited to know who will be awarded at this poetry competition. For now, I thank you, dear members of the jury, for being on board of this poetic journey and for being such a beautiful jury for the competition. We close here this meeting, and we meet again tomorrow evening from all our different places, united by one vision, by one topic, which is poetry. I wish you a good night, good evening. Bye to all of you.
Bye, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Bye. Thank you so much, Andrea. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Bye.